Hello, hi. Welcome to the fourth episode of Voice Talking, where we talk about your career, highlight market trends, and give you industry insight. I'm your host, Ameer Junejo. Today, we'll be talking about corporate PR and how you can integrate sustainability efforts within it. We have with us our resident corporate PR head, Nen Lin Soo. Hello, hi Nen.
Hello, Amir.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely, pleasure. Can we start with your introduction, please?
Sure. So my name is Nen Lin Soo. I go by Nen Lin or Nen. I've been with the company for 3+ years now. I've been here since 2020, starting off as a communications lead. And I'm here today with this company overseeing the PR team and what we do. So a little overview as well of what we do as a department. A lot of times when people think PR, they just think public relations. But today we're talking about how you can incorporate sustainability within your PR strategy, right? That's because we've done it somewhat uniquely within Forest Interactive and in how we adopt sustainability within our work. So the PR team not only does things like branding, public relations, media relations, we're also managing our industry relationships as well, whether that's with industry partners or with our other sustainability partners that falls under corporate PR also. We are also doing a lot of the CSR initiatives. That's how we started with sustainability, although now we do have our Forest Interactive Foundation and that falls under them.
Okay.
But yeah, that's corporate PR in a nutshell. That's what I do as well in a nutshell. And I have a team that works on all of these different areas.
Great, great. So as one of the main topic for our podcast is sustainability, so let's delve into that. So sustainability now is a main focus for most of the companies. Like it's the word of the year. Like how every year there's a different word, different jargon, right? So how does Force Interactive cultivate that sense of sustainability within its workforce or within its culture?
For us, I think we have to look at what Forest Interactive stands for as well. So sustainability now, it's like we are so familiar with that word, right? Everyone is talking about sustainability. When you are working with different companies as well, they ask you, what is your sustainability agenda? What are your goals? What of the UN Sustainable Development Goals are you adhering to? That's what everyone talks
Definitely.
about. So it has somewhat become a buzzword, I would say, although the intention is there and the intention is right. But for us here in Forest Interactive, it's very important for us to also remember why we're doing it. Back when sustainability wasn't such a popular term yet, I think a lot of companies, they were also doing what they call corporate social responsibility initiatives. And that's how we started as well in Forest Interactive. We would do these CSR events, activities, maybe raise money to donate to a cause, maybe have our talents volunteer at a certain event as well. So that's how we started. But with sustainability, it's always important to also remember that that is the root of it. We have to be ethical when it comes to sustainability. We have to remember why we're doing what we're doing. So that's where Forest Interactive comes from. We also look at it from 3 different aspects when we think about sustainability. So we have our stakeholders to consider. So we think about our talents, our people. People say like your talents are your greatest assets, right? So we definitely have to think about our people. And then we also have our industry partners that we think about, not just our business partners, but also like the other partners that are out there doing the good work that they're doing themselves. So these are organizations that may be NGOs. They may also be organizations that are within the sustainability industry, like the UN Global Compact. And then for the third one, we have our communities that we serve. So these would be maybe the communities that benefit from the sustainability work that we do. But it could also be the community that we hope to inspire to also join us on this sustainability journey. So that's how we view sustainability within Forest Interactive. Now, how does that fall under corporate PR?
Yes.
corporate PR is often seen as this public reputation management vehicle. And while that is true to corporate PR, for us, we realized over the years that you can't just talk about it and just shout about it. You have to really walk the talk and live it, you know? So for us in corporate PR, what we do is we work with the different business verticals. We make it a cross-functional agenda for sustainability. We ensure that even if we do spearhead some initiatives or some strategy, we have our people operations department, we have our technology development departments, we have them to also carry forth this vision, this agenda for sustainability. So that's how we see it. We are all working hand in hand. We're here to give ideas, we're here to brainstorm, but we're all working together collectively to serve the different stakeholders that we want to serve.
Okay, cohesive efforts. Okay,
cohesive
great.
efforts, yeah.
Great. Okay, I just want to highlight something. Like you mentioned industry partners, right? So what kind of industry partners does Forest Interactive have? And like, how is it different from each other?
I think for industry partners, maybe I can divide them into two parts.
Okay.
We are in the mobile communications industry. And so that also means that whatever work that we do here in Malaysia, we are contributing to driving the Malaysia digital economy forward.
Yeah.
And also digital economy of the world, where we have all of our different offices. So when we talk about the first part of our industry partners, we have people like the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC. We work very closely with them when we first started doing CSR initiatives as well, and this was maybe in 2016. We would work with them. We will come in as facilitators for a lot of MDEC's programs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because they also have programs to help develop future innovators. So we would come in as facilitators in their programs, help out during their workshops. We would travel with them all across Malaysia as well, with our talents as volunteers.
Nice.
So it's a way for the company to give back, but we're also providing that avenue for our talents to give back and have that platform to also serve the communities that they want to serve. So yeah, that's part of what we do with MDEC back then. And then over the years, we've also grown, and then we just started doing our own thing. We still work very closely with them in other ways, but that's also a evolving relationship that we have. So that's one example of an industry partner. A second type of industry partner we have is like the UN Global Compact, which I've mentioned.
Yeah.
We've been a member now for 3 years. And through this relationship that we've built, not only are we benefiting from their programs and learning when it comes to sustainability, but we're also giving back to other members as well. We're showing other members that, hey, you can do this. These are best practices. These are our case studies. We're also sharing within the sustainability realm so that we can all work on this collective journey together. So yeah, these are our two types of industry partners, I would say. Like, it's a symbiotic relationship also, because we are also helping our partners, and our partners help us in their own way.
It's like a tribe.
Yeah, it's like a tribe. Like you're in a
Sustainable tribe.
network
Yes.
where there's no one person giving more than the other. Like, there are so many ways for collaboration. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so you mentioned, like, I picked up on two things. You spoke about sustainability and ethical consideration, right? So there's another word that's been being used around sustainability, which is greenwashing, right? Like, how just companies just focus on sustainability, and then they start greenwashing their efforts, right? So how does Forest Interactive navigate around that? Yeah.
I would say for us, it's holding ourselves accountable. When we first started delving into these do good, feel good efforts, these sustainability efforts, we would just do what feels right. What felt like this is what would be good for the wider community, or this would be good for the people that we're trying to target or serve, and we would just do it. But then over time, we realized that if we don't set targets or measurements or metrics, we're not going to really know whether our efforts were effective or not.
Yeah.
So when it comes to greenwashing, I know there's a lot of criticism as well around the word ESG also, because people have learned, especially in the past year, that there were a lot of companies that would make these commitments and make these pledges. They would be very public about it,
Yeah.
but oftentimes they don't actually meet the targets set forth for these commitments and pledges. So that's why it's gotten a lot of criticism, sustainability, ESG. But for us, I think for us, what is important for us to remember is that we need to stay true to the people that we're trying to serve. So if, let's say, we are doing an effort for our talents, then it's ensuring that whatever we're coming up with, whatever we're designing, we get their feedback. We listen to their feedback, do our post-mortem, act on any of the suggestions, come up with solutions based on any feedback as well, and cater any programs and initiatives to them. So that's people.
Okay.
Same thing with our community, same things with same with the partners that we work with. When we talk about having that relationship with them, it's a lot of talking to each other, sharing honestly and being transparent of like, hey, I know our intentions are good here, but what can be better? How can we better support each other? And how can we better serve the people that we want to serve? Yeah, so that's our take on it. It's not going to change the world, to be honest.
Yes.
I'm sure there will be a lot of greenwashing still, but for us, we're just trying to stay true to what we believe to be right and to not just chase these fancy metrics or fancy or like nice announcements, you know? Yeah.
Be accountable.
Be accountable,
basically.
yeah.
Okay.
And just be honest also with like challenges, I would say. You know, like we're very honest with like how we may not have all the resources that we need, but we try to make do with what resources we have and do what we can. So we may not be up there, or we may not be a leader on, let's say, a climate action front, but we are constantly trying.
True, I agree. Okay, so Force Interactive is a tech company, right? So, and obviously, like it's a tech company, so I want to just understand, how does Force Interactive enable sustainability using tech?
I like this question.
Okay.
We are in the tech space. We are, as I mentioned, in the mobile communications industry. So we have to also walk the talk. We have to show others how we are using tech to make our lives better or make our lives more sustainable. A lot of times people don't really focus on tech companies when it comes to sustainability. And right now, I would say the highlight or the spotlight is being shown on your manufacturing companies, your oil and gas companies as well, because people are realizing that, oh, you know, when it comes to Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, like these are the companies that are contributing the most. But it's still very important for people like us to look into it. We all play a part after all. So for us, I would say, before we even learned about the different scopes when it comes to emissions, we were already trying to do our part. Years ago, realizing that, hey, we're a tech company. Why are we printing paper? Why are we printing so much, you know? So that's when we started having a Go Green policy where you don't print anything unless absolutely necessary. But even then, when we do print things, oftentimes it's when we work with external stakeholders. And maybe we require like a physical signature. But for us, even internally and externally, we try to encourage like a digital first mindset.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we do internally with like processes. And I think a few years later, during the pandemic, when we had a staggered work arrangement for the workforce, when we were also doing this hybrid arrangement, we realized that the office was being underutilized. So what do? We looked at the toilets and we thought, hey, you know, because there are less people coming into the office, then why do we have the lights switched on all the time? So we switched them to motion sensor lights.
Nice.
But you know, these are all good efforts, but we actually never measured the effectiveness of this, you know, like did this actually lower our electricity bill or not? But those are the kind of things that we learn along the way. Hey, we need to set targets. We need to start tracking our metrics. So then we're able to also report on whether our initiatives were effective or not. So that's just a side mention about what we're learning as we do this. Other things that we do, I think, is also making all communications accessible to our talents. So what we do by that is with that, because we do not only have a workforce in Malaysia, but we also have a workforce all over the world. So if we're making an announcement, besides sending an email, we also do our Microsoft Teams and channels announcements. We also have it parked on our internal self-developed help desk portal where they can easily access all of these resources. So making it accessible so that the workplace is one where they can actually feel like they belong. They don't feel lost. They feel supported no matter where they are in the world. So that's another thing that we do. And then now, people are talking about AI. We have the rise of AI.
Definitely.
I know a lot of people are also talking about generative AI. How are you going to utilize AI for your way of work? So that's also what we're trying to encourage within our workplace. We've also gone past the I guess misconception of like, oh, AI is going to take over your jobs. Over here, it's about learning how to use AI to make your work better. How do you make your processes more efficient? How do you automate a lot of the tasks that you do so that AI helps make your life easier? And so that's the culture that we're currently building as well within the company. So that's the usage. But a lot of our teams, including teams that are not traditionally tech teams, like perhaps our creative and multimedia team, they are also generating ideas founded on AI. How can we develop a product or a solution utilizing AI that we can offer to our talents or offer to external parties? So those are the things that we're also encouraging our talents to think. So when I say digital first mindset, right, it really is like a very tech-powered, tech-driven thing that we're trying to do here, and encouraging everyone, not just the tech departments, but like the non-tech departments as well, to do the same. So then we're all able to contribute towards this our sustainability agenda, because sustainability at the end of the day is also not just about climate action or the environment. It's also social sustainability. It's governance. So it's making your talents feel safe and included and like they belong. And it's also having policies in place to ensure that whatever work is being done, it's done right. And it's done in a way that matters to our people.
Yeah, not just jargon.
Yes, not just a jargon.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. So when you talk about sustainability, right, there's a lot of criticism involved as well. And when people are talking about like, why is this being done? How is it being done? So how does corporate PR measure accountability?
How do we measure accountability?
Yeah.
I would say our stakeholders keep us accountable.
Okay.
That's why I think when I say we also listen to feedback, right, from people, we do a lot of surveys.
Yeah, so surveys are important. Yes.
Yeah, and we do so many surveys that we've had to stop ourselves at one point and say and assess like, hey, is this too many surveys? Like, are we bugging our talents too much? And then let's think about how we can reassess how we run our surveys. So that's how we measure accountability also. Setting, sometimes it's a pre-event survey and post-event survey.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a post-initiative survey. But from there, we take the feedback and we learn from that, and then we take the lessons forward.
Okay.
So that's what we do. We also have things like a suggestion form on our help desk where our talents can suggest anything.
Okay.
Anything at all. If they say like, hey, why don't the company move to a bigger office? Any kind of suggestions, right? Like, oh, can you add a certain brand of coffee into the pantry? Anything at all. So we have that it's like an open channel. But it's also being used by our talents to tell us things like, hey, I know you all had this initiative, or I know we have this policy. How can this policy be better? And how will it help me as a talent feel like I belong in this workplace? So that's an avenue for them.
Definitely.
We also have our report form as well that falls under our anti-harassment and discrimination policy. I know within the industry, we are quite ahead on this because we are actually not required to do this, but we knew that it was closely linked to making our talents feel safe and like they belong in a workplace. So we also have that outlet now. We have an anti-harassment and discrimination committee. We have the right reporting mechanisms as well to ensure accountability also in that sense. And then also, of course, a lot of like internal communications type campaigns, including our twice a year town halls where anything goes. We present very clearly how the company has done, what are our milestones, our achievements, numbers, all of that, and then we allow our talents to ask any questions they want as well. So yeah, that's how we maintain that accountability.
Okay, great. Okay, so sustainability is also often tied with your corporate values, right? So how does Force Interactive reflect on that? What are the corporate values of Force Interactive, and how does it reflect on this sustainability journey?
So our corporate values are diversity, passion, and innovation. And they're not standalone. They are so closely connected to one another. One leads to the other. Diversity, because we recognize that we have a very diverse workforce, not just in our regional offices, but just even in our headquarters alone, we have talents from all over the world. So we have about 20 different nationalities. And how do we ensure that they feel safe and they feel like they belong in this workplace and they're celebrated? So we also try to celebrate their diverse cultures and backgrounds, but we acknowledge the diversity of thought. So all of that, we also acknowledge that celebrating that diversity will lead to innovation in products and services. And so because we celebrate that, our talents may also be more passionate when it comes to working in this workplace, feeling like they belong and feeling like, hey, this is a company that I want to work with. And then that also leads to that innovation. So those are our company values. How we tie it back to sustainability, starting first with diversity, we celebrate their national days, celebrating their cultures, giving them the platform as well to share about their own values and their own cultures, and giving them that space allows them to also feel like, hey, I have a space for this. And then when it comes to work, they also won't feel afraid to maybe voice out any thoughts or conflicting opinions that they may have about work projects or work processes. Then it's us also saying that we value you as a talent, we value your individuality and where you come from, and then celebrating that, having everyone work well together, and that breeds innovation and passion. So it's so closely linked for us because our values are not just about like, creating products and services, but it's about the more holistic view of like the people are the ones that make your products and solutions. So how do we make it better for everyone involved?
Great. Okay, so just trying to round this off as well. So sustainability is also often linked with different standards and different roadmaps, right? So there's one common denominator, which is the UN 2030 sustainable development, right? So how does Forest Interactive contribute to that?
For us, I remember when the UN Sustainable Development Agenda, the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda was launched, and I think that was when they rolled out the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And the team back then thought, hey, let's try to hit all the goals, all 17.
Yes, nice.
And being ambitious is good. And I think that's the benefit about Forest Interactive as well. Like in terms of like hierarchy, like the lines of approval, it's a lot shorter compared to like maybe bigger and larger companies. So we're able to just run with ideas and learn along the way, and oftentimes it turns out great. So with the SDGs, we just like, okay, let's try to hit all of it. And we did for a while. Everything that we do, our National Day celebrations that I mentioned, when we commemorate UN International Days as well. Back then, we tried to commemorate one UN International Day a month. That was how ambitious we were. Of course, over time, we reassessed. We talked about transparency just now, right?
Yeah.
So we reassessed and we realized, hey, okay, maybe this is too much for our talents also. It's so much that they have to also be a part of outside of their regular workload. So then we tweaked it. We now have narrowed down our core SDGs to just gender equality, quality education, reduce inequalities, climate action, and partnership for the goals. So these are our 5 core focus now. And of course, we still hit the other SDGs. It's all interconnected, but those are our focus now. And then we also have our focus sustainability pillars. So whatever we do, we still think about the SDGs, and we still have that sustainability mindset in mind. besides that as well, being a UN Global Compact member has allowed us to give back in our own way. They provide us with support. They provide us with opportunities. But we're also maybe contributing to the sharing sessions of our best practices, our case studies, helping other companies also see that, hey, like you can always just start somewhere. You don't have to have this grand plan or this grand strategy. Just have your heart in the right place and reach out to those who can support you. And in this case, UN Global Compact. So that's one example. We also work closely with UN Women via Lead Women, who manages and facilitates the relationships and events that UN Women may want to have within Malaysia. So those are the people that we work very closely with also to help further that. And I do want to also bring up that within this SDG, everyone trying to meet that as well, right? We're also an early adopter of the Forward Faster initiative.
Okay.
We're also trying to support other enterprises and social enterprises. So bringing that to the fore. So let's say, for example, we did our recent International Women's Day event, and we knew we wanted to give away some gifts for one of the activities we were running. So in our heads, we thought, okay, let's support women-owned businesses because that aligns also with International Women's Day.
Yeah.
But that is the kind of mindset that we try to have. We're not able to build out a full supply chain / procurement strategy for now, but that is the mindset that we can already adopt. So that's what I mean by you don't need to have a grand plan yet. Like sometimes while you're working towards that grand strategy, you can already start doing these things.
Just jump.
Just do it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we are running out of time as well. This is such an interesting conversation.
Oh, I wish we could talk more.
Yeah, I know.
There's so
right?
much more to say.
I know. But if the audience wants to know more, we have our sustainability update reflecting our 2023 efforts. The link will be in the caption, so you can download that. Okay. So now, just to quickly wrap it up, what advice would you give, to people who are just getting onto this sustainability journey and they just want to venture into it? So yeah.
Okay, quickly. But I have a lot to say. All right, 3 things.
Yeah.
One, I would say just start. I always tell this to people when they ask for advice. Just start, just do it. Like jumping off of what we shared just now, right? About how you don't actually need to always have this strategy planned out, this like 5-year plan. That is good and that is important for a lot of companies, and I get that. But sometimes it's just about just starting and learning along the way, because if you've never ventured into sustainability before, it can be so overwhelming. There's so many resources online, but where do you start, right? So just start. That's what we did as well when we wanted to start our anti-harassment and discrimination campaign. We just started, which leads me to my second point, which is utilize the resources that you have. There are so many free resources online, but you can hone in on the select resources. So the anti-harassment and discrimination campaign that we ran, we had a toolkit that we used from UN Women, and it was just an assessment, and they ask you about certain areas and where you stand, and we just followed that. We did the assessment, then we were like, okay, this we're good at, but maybe this we're not good at yet, so let's work on that. And that's how we built up this entire thing that we now have today. So resources, they're there, use it. Everything is online. And lastly, I would also say that it's important to remember that with sustainability, it often is also not one size fits all.
Definitely.
It has to be, because sustainability is about the people. So it has to be about the people that you're serving. I can't follow the exact roadmap of what a bigger company is doing, because that may not apply to our own workforce, our diverse workforce. They all have different needs and like different preferences. So I would say it's important to remember that, and always remember that you can make mistakes as long as you learn and you tweak it along the way, and that's how you can refine things to be better, and therefore make it meaningful for everyone involved, not just for the company, but for also the people that you're serving.
Great. So just to end it, it is not the destination, but a journey.
Yes, it's the journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah, and you know, like I know we're ending, but it's the destination itself is also always changing.
Definitely.
Yeah, tech trends are evolving. When it comes to sustainability as well, it's always changing. There are new regulations, but what's important is that you keep in mind like who you're trying to serve as we go along. Always be open to change things so that you reach your ever-changing destination.
Great, great. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
such a
Amir.
insightful session.
Bite size.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So that is a wrap of our Forest Talking episode 4. If you want to connect with Nen Lin Soo, you can find her on LinkedIn as well. And then hopefully we'll be back with another episode, and then we'll be talking about another industry trend. Thank you.